Tekken 8 is something, truly a cracked game. It's completely different from Tekken 7. Aggression, violence, domestic abuse, it all comes together in Tekken 8. Everyone in this game has been buffed to crack levels except these guys. Where 90% of the characters ascended to angelic levels, these guys descended to level 1 grunts. Steve, Zafina, Leroy. These characters stink. They're below bottom of the barrel. They're if someone drilled a hole into the barrel, filled the whole thing with dog shit and skibbity toilet memes and OnlyFans models' opinions to create a concoction of vile proportions underneath the barrel. These characters, just give them away. We don't want them. Bamco, you need to follow exactly what I'm about to tell you on how to fix these guys. But first, like, subscribe, comment. In fact, comment down below who you think is the trashiest character in this game. Now let's get into it. The worst character currently in this game is Zafina. And there's not even really an argument to be had about this. I have never seen a character fall so far from grace. Zafina at one point was up there being used by the top dogs in this game. Arslan Ash terrorized the pro scene with this character for years. This character had me out here like, why should I even leave the house today? Now Zafina is so trash. It's unfathomable. It's unfathomable. Unfathomable. Firstly, the most obvious thing, her movement. In Tekken 7, Zafina had the best movement in the game by far. I think like artists are kinda like rivaled that, but I'm pretty certain that Zafina had the best backdash in the game, period. And the difference between her and everyone else in this department was huge, like a considerable amount. So much so that it was a literal advantage to play her on an infinite stage, because you could just backdash away forever. This has been completely neutered in this game. Trash ass backdash, what the fuck is this? Like, I get backdash was overall nerfed in this game, but bro, what is this? This shit stinks.
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
Next, Scarecrow 1+2. This was a very strong move that Zafina had. It was a mid counter hit launcher, and it simply just does not do that anymore. And the damage would nerf ridiculously. Not sure why they did this, but there you go. Oh, and they reduced tracking, so I don't even know why you would ever even use this move anymore. Back 3, her armor move, is unsafe now. I cannot fathom why you have Victor out here just spamming safe power crushes all day, but Zafina can't have this. Pop off Bamco, I guess. They've also removed stance transitions, counter hit moves like forward 3, it's gone. Like, I could even get into how they've just flat out removed moves from Zafina as well, like her old back 1+2. Well, that's locked behind the stance now, but it's fairly obvious that they just wanted to nerf this character, which was warranted. However, they have neutered this character, not nerfed her, neutered. Like, it's like when they were making Zafina, they wanted a super annoying evasive character, yet they removed like 50% of the annoying and 80% of the evasiveness, so now she's just kind of a Tekken character. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. How to fix this character. Now, as crap as Zafina is, I don't actually think that she needs a ton of buffs for her to be good. The devs clearly wanted players to lean more into her stance offense, so I'm going to be making suggestions under this premise. Simply give her some good stance transitions so she can actually flow a bit nicer. And they clearly know how to do this because Azucena flows well. And as bad as Steve is in this game, he flows between stances well. With Zafina, it's like you're kind of locked into your stance because you've either got an unsafe transition or transitions that put you at shit frames. They're just not good. Now, I did roast Scarecrow 1+2 before, but this move has a Tarantula transition with plus frames, which is kind of good because Tarantula is obviously evasive, but your opponent is never really clicking after a Scarecrow 1+2 because it's like +7 or some bullshit. Look, just give Zafina something to work with, okay? Maybe Scarecrow 3-3 could go into something like Tarantula. Your opponent is expecting the high, you go into Tarantula, catch them with something, I don't know. I'm not a Zafina main, but you know, something along these lines. Also, just give her her movement back. In tournament, it's random stage now, so Zafinas can't just default to a big stage where I can backdash forever. Stages are also considerably smaller in this game, Like, just come on. Now, my main, Steve Fox, or one of my mains. Steve's counter hit game has been clapped in this game, which doesn't really make sense to me because counter hit character, but okay. And like Zafina, it's pretty obvious that the devs want you to lean into Steve's stance offense. Except peekaboo is realistically the only stance that's really going to put in work, right? Flicker is cool, but it's not like I'm gonna cook you with flicker stance. It's more like I'm gonna annoy you with these highs. You don't really have to retaliate to someone just clicking flicker moves, right? In fact, you're just doing yourself a disservice doing that, because Steve can outtime you, hit you with a mid, hit you with a power crush, etc. But anyways, they want you to attack with this character rather than sitting around fishing for a counter hit, right? And I don't like this change personally, but if that's the way that they want you to play the character, then cool. So like Zafina, I'll be making suggestions based on this. Simply increase the frame advantage on my Lionheart transitions by 1 frame, so I don't get power crushed out of all of my options, please. Or give us an actual way of cancelling Lionheart. You can duck right and left and sway. All of these are bad. I don't know what to say. So just give us a way to cancel our stance so we can block, please. You gave it to King, who arguably has the most ridiculous stance in the game with Jaguar Sprint. Just give it to us. Give it to Steve, please. What I would really want to happen with Steve is that his counter hits get buffed, like down forward 2 actually giving a launch again. The pickup from down forward 2 counter hit was practically one of the hardest things to do in a Tekken game. I'm pretty sure Shiro combo required 2 just frame inputs. Could be wrong though, I can't remember if it was an actual just frame, but I'm pretty sure there was. This would give Steve an actual viable mid. Quarter circle forward 1 is a heat engager, but Steve has like bottom 3 heat, so the move is not good enough to be Steve's best mid. Like, come on. I think just adjusting Lionheart would make Steve at least mid tier, you know. But moving on. Leroy. Leroy has been getting nerfs every single patch since his release in Tekken 7, and at the beginning it was completely warranted, as he was probably one of the most busted characters that this game has ever seen. However, by the end of Tekken 7's lifespan, Leroy was just mid. There was no reason to keep clapping this character's cheeks, yet in Tekken 8 they continued nerfing him to the point where he's now a bottom 3 character in the game. This character's pokes are atrocious. And that's kind of how Leroy is supposed to be, as he's a heavily stance focused character. However, when you don't have a single poke that is better than -6 on block, what can you really do? Leroy is just going to be constantly abused in the neutral. Like, yeah, you can say Leroy has parries to compensate for this kind of stuff, but a whiffed parry attempt equals a fat punish for your opponent. Like, there's an actual risk going for these moves. Generics are supposed to be quick checks to try and open something up, and when your pokes are all -6 or worse, you can never do that because you're constantly giving up your turn. The way to fix this is simple. Leroy already has good offense when he gets going. The issue is how he gets going. Leroy has some very good ways to enter stance. Down 3-2 shifts the Hermit at +8, but it's a low high. But with no real mid poke, it can be kind of hard to use this. The same can be said for down back 3. Back 3 is a high and slow, so exactly the same issues. The way to fix Leroy is simple, right? Simply buff Leroy's down forward 1 so it's -3 instead of -6 on block. Simple. Now you actually have a mid check, making it much easier for you to get into stance with these low and high transitions. It's literally this easy. This will at least make Leroy not a bottom 3 character in the game, at the very least. I think that's everything I wanted to say. If you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe. Zafina mains, what can I say?